Okay, so I'm back at it again, and today I was debating if I'm going to be doing rear end work or if we are going to disassemble the motor. This motor works pretty good. I mean, it doesn't need a rebuild, but we're going to have to pull it anyway to do rear main seal, and you know, if we're at that point, we might as well just do all new gaskets and whatnot. I've been cleaning it up just you know, overnight. Did valve cover, kind of cleaned up here, just blew all the dust and debris off of it for the most part. Tried getting all the paint chips off, but I didn't do that good of a job. But you know, I figure we'll just do motor, and maybe next episode we'll take the steering piece off and do the transmission. So if we look at the transmission, let's say we put it in gear, it shouldn't have any, or it should have a little side-to-side wobble, but not that much. But this one, that is in gear. It feels like neutral when it's in gear. And then that is neutral. That's in gear. So anyhow, you have to make sure that this piece is moving side to side if you're in neutral. So I figure that is there's a roll pin in there that's been worn out, and I figure that's the problem there. But again, that'll be the next episode. So for tearing this down, we need to pull the valve cover off first. And it is just 2 bolts. I believe these are 9/16. I have a crescent wrench on me, so I don't know the exact size, but I'm guessing. You got 2 washers under here. Normally you're supposed to have a little clip on this one to hold in all the wiring, but it had been taken out long before I ever got this tractor, so here it is. And look, there is some crazy, I don't know if that's pitting or if there's just gunk in there, but that's definitely not right. We'll set it right there. Here it is, and this is all looking pretty nice. We'll take this gasket out, set it right here. And while we're at it, you know, we should probably just drain all the oil. But first I'm going to take, holy smokes, look at that. And look at that, look at all this, holy smokes. That is definitely not good. Let's take these out. These look like, holy smokes. I'm pretty sure these are also 9/16. Yeah. And these go all the way through and thread into the cylinder head. But I had this valve cover off. Here, put all the hardware in here. I had this valve cover off a couple months ago, doing head gasket on it, as I said in the previous videos. And you know, I guess I just never really, because it was a very speedy process. I just wanted it done and out of the shop, so I guess I never really looked that far into it. But there is some crazy pitting on these bolt heads, and you know, I'm pretty sure all these valves, they move, so, but there's definitely been water up here corroding some of the stuff, and that's why I did head gasket in the first place. The head gasket wasn't even brand new. It was a used head gasket off of that 48 I-4. But yeah, so get all this off, and I believe we're going to have to pull this piece off right here. And this is just an oiler line. But I might have to get a normal wrench for that. Oh, that's hand tight right there. Or, yeah. Get that side off. All right, that's off. And this side's pretty loose. Anyway, I don't even really need to use a wrench. All right. That's loose. This is just again, an oiler line. And let's pull this off and put this in here. Now I'm gonna cut the camera because I need to find a piece of cardboard to figure out which, to make sure these are in the correct order, the push rods. So I will be right back. Right, and just like this is how you do it. So you get a piece of cardboard, cut out holes, and stick the push rods through. And you label front. So this is the frontmost push rod, and this is the rearmost push rod. And it just makes it easier for reinstalling. Now, next we got the intake and exhaust manifold, which I tested 2 nuts, and both of them were pretty easy to take off. So I'm pretty safe to assume that the rest should be just as easy. So let me set you guys down and get the rest of these off. All right, got all of them undone. Very easily taken off. You have 4 big, thick washers like this that go over these cracks and holds it down. So I'm curious to see how hard this is to take off. Another thing, we have a casting, and we can tell that is in M casting. I don't know what the letters are. It looks like 4, 5 of M, so 43. Oh, and that was so easy. Just wiggled in. It wants to come off. Another thing, you got undo the carb, which I already did before I started recording. So it is just 2 bolts, and the stud came out, and then you have 1 nut. So it should just be 2 nuts. Looks like the gasket's kind of hung on. Oh well. Get this kind of wiggled back and forth. All right, she's off on both sides. And then pick her straight up, get that carb off that stud, if I can. She's fighting me a little. Oh, just like that. Oh, and there was a washer on it too. Let me get this gasket, because that gasket actually looks pretty nice. So, take this over here and set it in the giant pile of parts we have so far. But, yeah, so we will be taking that carb off pretty soon, but let's get these gaskets off first. So, one right there. Oh, that one just broke. There's the other piece of it. Come on. Oh, there. All right, next we have the head studs or head bolts. These are, oh, dude, these are tight. I think they're a little over torqued. All right, so I'll get the rest of these off because there's so many of them, and we'll cut to that. All right, so got all the head nuts out, and when removing this one, the whole stud came out, which, you know, I guess is what it is. But this head is ready to be taken off. Pull the spark plug wires out. I haven't done the thermostat housing. There's 2 bolts right here. You have to undo those to get the head off, but she is looking pretty good. And let's see how much this, oh, let's see how much this fights this here, trying to wiggle this thing free. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm gonna cut cameras because you have to lift this straight up because you got these studs in here, and she's moving quite a bit. So I will pick this up and I'll set it maybe somewhere. I don't know yet. Maybe I'll set it right here. I don't know. So I will do that right now. All right, got it off, and I also got a cup to put all the bolts and nuts in. This is what she looks like. We got some coolant in the cylinders, but I'm assuming that's from rocking the head back and forth, trying to wiggle it free. Some of the coolant ports got opened up, and yeah, so we do have some, looks like rusty residue here. And on this head gasket, I will set this head gasket right up here. Beautiful. And yes, so next up, I guess we take the mag off, and maybe we'll start doing the back end, maybe the bell housing, take that off and start undoing things back there. But yeah, so I guess we don't even need to take the mag off. We'll undo this linkage, undo all the linkage that goes to the motor, and then take off this bell housing. So, all right, that's what we'll do next. Let me move all this junk. Okay, so I got the bracket off right there, unbolted it, and started these nuts, or these bolts back in. And I got the throttle lever that goes to the governor piece right here out, as well as the choke cable. So, well, not really a cable, more like a choke line. But I got all these bolts, which I believe I've never taken the bell housing off before. So I believe it's only these 4 bolts right here, but I got all of them loose. And I'm just gonna hope that these are all you need to take out. Oh, that one was already out right there. I don't know how stuck on this one's gonna be, or this is gonna be, but oh, that was not that stuck at all. So let's pull this out. Okay, let's see here. Let's go. Ooh. Carry this bell housing and set it in the giant pile we're collecting over here. And this is what we're dealing with. So I've never pulled the clutch cover off. You know, if somebody, man, that looks like it's gotten some heat on it. If somebody knows what they're looking at, I mean, please tell me, because I have, you know, I'm pretty lost with this system here. I don't know anything about these. We got some play right there, I know that. Wait. Oh, yeah, so this is a little greaser with this plug on it. Oh, here, why don't I do something? Well, I'll push in the clutch and see what happens here. Okay. Oh, and it rotates this whole thing right here. Pulls this spring. That looks like homemade, dude. They got just a spring in there. Okay. Okay, so once again, I have no idea what I'm dealing with here. We got some bolts here, which, oh, the whole block is bolted right there and right there. So I'm gonna have to undo something here and pull the block out. So undo this clutch system somehow. Take this off. Yeah, take this off, and then maybe undo these bolts right here. and then we'll be able to pull the block out because it's just 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Okay, so I am slowly figuring this out. But first, I'm gonna pull this carb off. Hey guys, I just had to start recording here. I took this off and I was like, why don't I take a look at the transmission, and took this transmission cover off. Look at that oil. Oh, dude, it's like, it's a cross between oil and like wheel bearing grease at this point. This is the cover. It's literally, it feels like wheel bearing grease, and it's got a bunch of metallic stuff in it. Es no bueno. And it's all like that. This thing's definitely gained a good flush when we go through the rear end. That makes me want to just take this whole cast iron lid off and look at the whole rear end. I might actually do that when I do the shifter, but yeah, that's just one thing I wanted to point out. So I'm gonna continue trying to figure this one out. All right, so I stepped away from this for a couple hours, and I got everything for the most part figured out. I removed this little shaft right here, and this I'm horrible with this sort of assembly and names, but I removed a bolt right here, grabbed a pry bar, pried it out, and removed those bolts. I also removed the little dowel pin from right here and right here. All you need to do is get a nut, start it on them, and tighten it until they pop out. But now, if we look at this, maybe I might, here. Let's see here. Let's get under it right there. Okay, yeah, look at that. My point is, as you can see, we as for the back end, we got it all undone. And the only thing holding this motor in is 2 bolts in the front end, which I will be taking out. But, you know, I feel like the length is getting a little long on this video, and I don't have a cherry picker in this garage to remove the motor, so we'll be doing that on a different video. Next video, I'm probably going to be going into the rear end, and we're going to really need to clean this out. This is pretty bad, and, you know, do brakes, pull fenders off, that kind of stuff. But motor, you know, it's pretty much bare, and we'll be taking the rest apart and pulling it out in the next few days. So, yeah. And I was gonna end the video at that, but I thought, you know, let's keep going. I said it was gonna be an engine teardown video, so this is, 3 days later, and finally I got the cherry picker out of my garage. And I know it looks like I've done a lot to this tractor. I assure you, I've only removed, 4 or 5 different things, and none of them would have been worth your while to even see. It was just very tedious work. And, you know, so I removed the steering column, which are 7/8 bolts, 3 of them. Both fenders, which, you know, I think we're actually like 30 bolts, 15 each. And, these brake covers and just very small things that I removed, but it looks like a lot. So, and drawbar. I removed drawbar, and look at this bucket. Holy smokes, that is on the brink of overflowing, but doesn't look like any more is coming out. So I am going to pull this motor I can't remember what I left off with, other than I know I told you I disconnected these 2 bolts on that. Never mind. You know that I don't know the name of that. I disconnected both those bolts. There was a little pin right here, and right here a little alignment pin that you take out by running a nut on. And then there is a bolt here and a bolt there, and they hold down the motor. Now we have to remove 2 front bolts, and I'm going to put the head back on the motor and put a couple of nuts on and hoist it up from the cylinder head. So let me get to it. First, we will put the cylinder head back on. All right, got the cylinder head on. You know, I would record it, but it is just so tedious aligning these head studs and with how heavy it is. So anyhow, I got these little brackets for bowling motors, and all you do is set them in there and start the nut. And yeah, that is literally it. Get this one started. And I might actually remove this line. I don't want to break it, even though it is super beat up, and I'm probably just gonna make a whole new line. But I might as well save it just to, you know, in case I don't end up doing that. Let's get to this one. Another thing that I have done over these past few days is I primed a few things. I primed the gauge piece, and I primed the carburetor. So, you know, just to give you guys an idea of what this paint is going to look like. I did not spray it. I used a soft bristle brush to get those coatings on there, and I've only put 1 coating on it, and it's been drying for about 24 hours now. So, you know, let it dry for about 24 hours, and then I believe you can start coating, but make sure you read the directions on any paint before you start doing anything crazy. All right, got these on. Let me tighten them down. Get this one tightened. I already got this one right here tightened. And these, again, are 3/4 nuts. And I don't care if these brackets spin around, it's still going to be pulling in the same place. There. All right, now that we got both brackets on, we need to grab grab this piece. Let's see here. Can I do this with one hand? Yes, I can. Oh, and it's barely on there. I might have to adjust that. Let me adjust this real quick and set it up. I had a bunch of excess chain, but I got this down. You know, if it's not perfect, because I got 2 links here, 1 link here. If it's not perfect, you can adjust it to whatever is good. So now that we got this hooked up, I will take these 2 front bolts out, and I will show you where these are. You got 1 bolt right here, 1 bolt right here. No, it's a little dark. And you gotta put something on these bolt heads right here to keep them from spinning. So let me get the wrenches for that. All right, I found the sizes. So the top nut is 1 inch, and the bottom nut, or the bolt itself, is 7/8. Now these nuts are hard to get to. I had to get a stubby 1 inch socket, and the only one I had was in 3/4 inch drive. So I'm using a 3/4 inch ratchet, and these were stuck on there. So I checked to make sure. bottom, the bolt itself is not rotating yet. But, yeah, super hard to get back in there. Let me check again. Yeah, still not rotating. And, I will cut and move on to the next one. Okay, we got both out. Here are the two nuts and lock washers. And I would recommend putting some penetrating oil on those things before removing them, because they were pretty tight in there. But I think we can just lift this up. Maybe. I don't think we have any more hiccups here. Okay, we'll lift it up and we'll see in the back end if anything is happening. Oh, on the wrong side to be doing this here. All right, let's see. All right. Ooh, she's moving. Oh, back end's lifted. Oh yeah, and that isn't going with it. Okay, so we're good on the back end. Front end, it might take some courage because those bolts are kind of seized in, and this is already bending, but we'll keep going. Oh my God, yeah, it's just lifting up the back. So let's drop her down. Ooh, oh, that's coolant. Let's drop it down real quick, just real lightly. Oh, I can't even drop it down, dude. Why is this so tight? Okay. Let me try and tap on these bolts and hopefully free them up to get this thing lifted. All right, just a quick little update. So this bracket right here has seized to each bolt. And I broke it free on this bolt right here, as you can see. But this one is still giving me some trouble, so I squirted it with some penetrating oil, and I've been working it back and forth. So I've been dropping it, and it moves it just a little bit on there, and it keeps moving it just a little bit and a little bit more. Dropping it, picking it up, dropping it, picking it up, and tapping on it every now and then. So that's where I am, and I will hopefully cut to where that bolt gets freed up. All right, with a lot of shaking it, and I ended up threading that nut back on and hammering down on it, trying to free it up. I think I got this freed. This part back here is freed, but I'm picking too much on the front, so let me balance this out real quick, and then we'll lift up some more. Ow! Freaking the corner of that kept hitting me there. All right. But yes, so I'm pretty happy about this. I didn't think I'd ever get that out. That took me probably 40 minutes just working that up and down, up and down. Then I was like, okay, let me just try shaking it. So I grabbed this hook right here and just shook the whole thing back and forth, and I managed to get it. All right. Well, what the heck? What am I gonna do with this? All right. That looks pretty centered. It looks like it's lifting up a little bit right there. And it's definitely lifting right here. Oh, she just moved. All right. Lift her up. I know this is a horrible footage. I'm like nestled up right next to the motor right here. Just wait for that to clear the bottom there. Beautiful. Whole motor's out. Oh, this is gonna be so easy to paint. And look at all that engine oil right there. All right. Now, I might have to do this two-handed. I'm gonna have to grab onto the back of this and then drag the motor over there. So, yeah, so let me go do that. Well, I never did carry or drag that motor over here. I just have so much junk over here, tractor junk, that I need to work on first. Again, I've been doing small things at a time, and I need to get all this stuff sanded down and painted and put up in the attic. And then once I do that, I'll drag this motor over here and start, I guess, you know, maybe tearing it down, getting to the bottom end, pulling the crank out. I'm gonna diagnose it, see what's wrong. I know two pistons, the piston rings are, you know, leaking. We filled all the pistons up with fluid, and the frontmost one and the rearmost one were dry by the morning, so we will do rings on it. Pistons will probably leave, we'll do rings, and we'll see the bottom end, make sure nothing's pitted. But first, let's drain the oil. Oh, I'm making that more open. Oh no, don't move the whole motor. Let's see here. Holy smokes. Why is that so tight? Here, let me try loosening this. I might be the biggest idiot ever. I was tightening it, which I was literally doing that, you know, on the motor mount bolt, and I caught myself, and I just did it again. So, oh, we got coolant in here and oil. I mean, the oil don't look bad. Very thin oil. That is 0 weight 30, because that was the only oil I had. I'm not used to oil that thin. All right, let's let that drain. And I'm gonna wipe my hand off. All right, so oil drained out. Need to put the plug back in. And I've been thinking, with all I have here and this gonna be staying here, I'm probably not gonna be pulling this motor apart for a little while. You know, in the beginning I said engine tear down, and I did tear it down to the head, but I did not, you know, remove piston, sleeves, crankshaft. I didn't do a proper tear down. So I'm gonna change the title of this video, because it was originally gonna be motor tear down to pulling the motor. So I guess I'm going to start cleaning all this out, get everything ready for paint, I guess, which we're gonna be painting this summer. So we have a lot of time to do all this, but I'm gonna start working on all this, start cleaning this out, and rear end work. Well, not quite rear end work, but shifter work. That's a must, and PTO work. Those are the two key things I'm gonna do, and they're probably gonna be in the same video, but I'm not gonna make a video about me cleaning this whole thing. So that's gonna be on standstill, and I might make a video about it, doing rings on all the pistons, but probably not. Anyhow, so thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you probably when I do the shifter.